you know we gon' talk about it. Let's talk about it. Get in here, we in here tonight. So get in here, we in here to vibe.
Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. Let me know if you can hear me. Good morning. How's everybody doing? I know it's early. It's about almost 9:30 here, so I know it's super early. Well, actually, it's probably 10 your time, you guys' time, but it's early for me. It's absolutely early for me. Oh, wow. I'm just reading your comment, Brown Sugar. But hey, everybody, how's everybody doing? I just came on right quick. This is not my regular live commentary, but I just feel the need to come on and say this. Hold on, where is that coming from? Hold on, let me close out. I think I got some beeping going on in the background. Where is that coming from? Let me see right quick. I got some windows open. Let me close them. Let me close these windows. I just close everything. All right. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Hey, Raw True. She said, I'm up eating a loaded hot dog and ice cream at 9:30 in the morning. Damn, girl, are you pregnant? You sound like you pregnant eating hot dogs with ice cream. Anyway, you guys, listen, hope everybody is doing good. This is not going to be a long live. She's on my way to physical therapy, but other than that, I'm fine. Yes, I got physical therapy today too, but it is a little bit later today. But I wanted to come on and say something right quick because apparently some people got it wrong. She said, GD, you pregnant, sis. Apparently some people got it wrong. Hold on a second. All right. Apparently some people got it wrong. So I want to straighten it up for those that's all the way in the back, okay? And this is not just for my loud talkers, but this is also for the bushwatchers, you know, the ones that love me, but because they sit on the opposite side, you know, they slithered to the opposite side and whatnot. They still watch me and listen to me, but they can't say anything in my chat because, you know, then they will have to slither back and they're not welcome back. So they're just there over there watching across the street, okay? All up in the gate and shit, you know what I mean? But nevertheless, I want to clear something up because there's a misconception. Um, and I don't have to do this. I know I don't, because I know my loud talkers know who I am. Okay. But I just want to say this. I want to put this out here because apparently there's a lost soul that's out there. Probably a few of them that seem to think that I have came on this here internet and said that I live a perfect life and that I have a perfect relationship. I don't remember ever saying that ever in my life because actually I think I've said nobody has a perfect relationship, okay? Nobody's relationship is perfect. Nobody's life is perfect, right? And perfect is so subjective, right? Because what may be perfect to you may be a disaster for someone else. So I've never intended to pretend that my life is perfect because it's not, and that my relationship is perfect because it's not. But what I will say, and what I have always said, and God be my witness, my husband, Jay, has never called me no B word. Well, I'm just going to say the word, a bitch. Now, he has called me B words, but the B words he called me is beautiful, babe, baby, boo, you know, those type of B words. But Jay has never called me a bitch. I don't know where this young lady, I don't know where she gets that from or even think she gets that from, but she knows it's not true. I have always stayed true to that. My husband has never called me a bitch. Now, my ex-husband has, but we're not married anymore, right? But this husband that I have has never raised his hand to hit me, nor has he ever called me a bitch, all right? Matter of fact, I was just on the phone with Ashley, and I was on the phone with Ashley, but I've been on the phone with other people before, and I asked Jay questions on the spot, okay? I just said, Jay, have you ever called me a bitch? He says, no. I said, have you ever called any of your exes a bitch? He says, no. I said, come on, Jay, tell me, have you? He says, no. That's not a word that I use. So now, unfortunately, some women have never experienced that. Some women have never got with a man that don't like calling women out of their names. Jay has never called me a bitch, and neither has he called anybody else that he's been with a bitch. Now, I know that there's not just one Jay out there in the world, right? I'm sure that there's other men like him that has never called their spouses a bitch or their girlfriends, fiancés, whatever you want to call yourself, a bitch. And I actually find it hard to believe that a lot of women, especially younger women, think that that is the norm. Before I came to this saga, this segment, or whatever you want to call it, I did not know that there was a lot of nasty men out there, okay? Because I haven't encountered a lot of nasty men. I did not know that women were so used to being called that name that it became a norm to them. They act like it's normal to be called a bitch, but I don't. I think it's disrespectful, you know? I think it's very highly and degrading. It's more than disrespectful. It's degrading. And it's unbecoming of a true man, a true leader. So for these women to say, because there's a woman out there now that's saying, I feel like I have a perfect relationship. No, 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 no. No, 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 no. And just because Jay has never called me a bitch doesn't mean that he is a perfect husband or a perfect man. Okay? We've been together for over 17 years. We've worked at what we have today. Okay? What we have today is a friendship. We have a solid, grounded relationship. We respect each other first before anything else. The respect is there both ways. Do we push the envelope sometimes? Just a little bit. Did we in the past? Yeah, we pushed it a lot more in the past. But now we only push it just a little bit because now we know that we can't push it that far. We know our boundaries. And I think that everybody should set boundaries in their relationship. Me, myself, nor Jay want to disturb each other's peace. So when we see it going there, and it does go there, we revert. We say, He say, not now, babe. Or I say, not, babe. I'm not doing this with you. So we have respect enough respect and love for each other that we don't take each other there. Now that took a lot of patience, a lot of prayer, and growth. Okay? And counseling, but it took growth. Now, this same person says that that my husband Jay called my daughter a manipulator. He did. I came out here and told you guys that. I am very transparent. My daughter was 6 years old. It was when we first got together. She was telling me some things. Every time she would tell me something, I would go back and check him for it or say, did you say this to her? Did you say this to her? Did you tell her she can't have this or whatever the case may be? And he said, she's a manipulator. She's just trying to play us between each other. My daughter was 6 and it was 17 years ago. We have both grown past that. But a B? No, ma'am. Now, just because this young lady, he's not even her husband because he doesn't love her enough to even give her a ring. So, but this young lady, just because she's in an abusive relationship, just because she's being called a bitch, just because she's being abused, physically abused by her man, she wants to spill that off on other people. All men are not the same. There are men out there that don't hit women. There are men out there that don't call women bitches. And guess what else? There are men out there that don't cheat on their spouses. Okay? There are men out there that just love family life, love who they are. They value themselves probably more than they value their relationship. There are men out there that value themselves and don't want to stick their Peter in just every little cat that's walking around here. I'm just fortunate and blessed enough to say that I have one of those men. Now, does he still get on my nerves sometimes? Jay is a Gemini. He is a Gemini. And y'all know how y'all Geminis can come sometimes. So yes, he gets on my nerves sometimes. Do I get on his nerves sometimes? I am a Scorpio. Yes, I get on my husband's nerves sometimes. But does that mean that he beats on me, he cheats on me, and he calls me out my name? Absolutely, he does not. Okay? So some people want to twist their narrative, their stories, their insecurities, their low self-esteem. Yeah, they want to twist that onto other people to make them feel better. No, I'm sorry. That doesn't make us have a perfect relationship or a perfect life. I would hope that there's other women out there in the comments that can touch and agree with me that they've never been hit on or beat on by a man, especially the man that you're currently with, or never been called a bitch or cheated on by the man that you're with. Now, we all have a past. We've all been with guys that may not have stood up to the plate, right? But our current relationships, if you're still in your current relationship, I will hope that there's more than me in saying that I've never been called a bitch by my husband, the one I'm married to now. I've never been hit on by no man, and I've never been cheated on by this man that I know of. Now, what he does that I don't know, then that's whatever he does that I don't know. I'm not going to go look for it. I'm not going to go digging for it. But that I know of, he's never cheated on me. Okay? And if I ever find out, not if somebody come tell me, because you come in telling me ain't going to do me nothing. But if you show me, you prove it to me, then I'll do what I have to do at that time, whatever that is at that time. I would deal with it at that time. But I've never been through that with Jay. So unfortunately, my heart goes out to any woman, especially the younger ones. Why do I say that about the younger ones? Because they still have time to get out of these abusive ass relationships and really go find someone that would treat them the way Jay treats me. You understand what I'm saying? I will really hope these 30 and early 40-something-year-old women and 20-something-year-old women too, 20, 30, and 40-something-year-old women will realize their worth and say, I deserve better. And not put up with a guy hitting you, disrespecting you, cheating on you, calling you out your name, all because you have a child with that guy. One child, and you cry to other people, strangers that you've never met, about how abusive this person is. I would hope that they would have enough security or enough confidence to leave. You know? I actually feel sorry for these women. And then they turn around and come on the internet and want to drag another woman, all because they're being dragged at home. They're being disrespected at home. They're being mistreated at home. So they have to come out to YouTube or Facebook or the internet and disrespect other people just because they're not being treated like that. People will envy what you have, all because you're not being or mistreated the way they are, which is sad. They will play on your relationship, smear your relationship, talk down about your relationship, all because they hate what they're going through behind closed doors. Exactly. She said they have misplaced anger. Exactly. When they should be angry at the person that's disrespecting them, that's abusing them, that's cheating on them. They should be angry with them. They should be putting them on their community boards. They should be making videos about them. And now let me just say this, mind you, the young lady that I'm referring to, which I'm not going to say her name because she really just wants clout. She wants to go back and forth with me because she once said when I ignored her, it made her sad, which I find that to be weird because why would you want to argue with someone that's old enough to be your mama? I am old enough to be this young lady's mama. So I'm not going to call her name because it's not about that. But I really feel sorry for this young lady because I know from what she told me. Now, unless she lied to me, okay, from what she told me, and even if she lied to me, then there's a deeper problem because why lie for sympathy about a man saying that he beat you or abused you, punch you in your face was her exact words, right? So why lie about that if it did not happen? So then that's a bigger issue because then you're willing to lie for sympathy, right? So I'm going to take what you said to me in tears as face value. All right. So my thing is, I feel sorry for this young lady. My heart goes out to this young lady because I've never, not one time, did anything to this young lady. The only thing that I did that she said is ignored her in my chat. I didn't acknowledge her in my chat. And for that, I was called all type of B's and all type of names that she's used to hearing behind the closed doors in her home. all right? Behind the closed doors in her home, she's used to hearing these words. I would never run from my chat, from somebody else's chat to my own live stream and go live and start calling a woman a bitch simply because they felt, or should I say, because I felt ignored in their chat. I find that to be pretty much mental. Okay? Mental. So, nevertheless, I just wanted to come on here and clear that up because, I'm sitting up here thinking, have I ever told anybody I had a perfect relationship? No. My relationship with Jay is not perfect. We have our trying times, but that still doesn't mean that he's ever called me a bitch. That still doesn't mean he's ever laid hands on me. And that still doesn't mean that he's ever cheated on me. Now, our trying time mostly came with our children when they were younger. Our kids are adults now. Our youngest child is 23 years old. We don't even get in that many arguments no more. Because why? Because we know how to communicate with each other. Now, when it get testy, like the other day, he's like, well, when am I going to, do I need to put in, do I need to put in requests to have some time with my wife, And then I was like, oh my God, here you go, da da da. But I understood that, you know what? My husband is asking for time. So I'm not going to make it a big old deal. I could have spent it. And I could have argued back with him. But I chose to say, you know what, Amor? He's right. He's right. So what did I do? I said, all right, I'm going to adjust some things. And what I do last night, I was supposed to come live. I went and laid, chill with my husband. Chill with my boo. Right? So anyway, I'm only saying that to say, if I have ever made people think that I am in a perfect life, my life ain't perfect. My life ain't never been perfect. Should I have struggles? I have shit going on. I have family members that sometimes get up under my skin. Hell, sometimes I have shit going on. My life is not perfect. But that doesn't mean that I'm in an abusive relationship. Okay? Now, I just feel at my age, I'm 52 years old. God has blessed me to the point where I don't need a man financially. I'm not even going to lie. I know how to make a dollar. If I was in an abusive relationship, if I was getting my ass kicked, if I was being disrespected and called a bitch, and it's only me and my husband in this house, we ain't got no adult kids. I mean, my daughter's home right now for a school break, but I mean, I'm talking about raising kids. I would leave. I would not put up with that shit. I would leave and go sow my royal oats. Okay? I would leave. I would not stay and put up with no bullshit at my late age, especially when I don't need it. But this young lady said the reason why she's staying is because she need her man financially. I thank God I'm not in that position. I really truly thank God that I'm not in that position. Tinkers, thank you. She said, you are the company you keep. Those are the type of women and men these ladies are in community with. They think you're perfect because they live such toxic and subpar lives. That is their normal. That's what it is. Because they're being called a bitch, they think that other females are being called a bitch. Matter of fact, this young lady said, oh, she thinks she's so superior. She thinks that she lives this perfect life and had this perfect marriage. No, baby. No, baby. My life is not perfect. I've never said my life is perfect. Never. I actually don't know a perfect person. I actually came out on the internet fighting on Brianna's behalf, saying that nobody is perfect. Like let's rewind these recordings, right? Let's rewind these videos. I came out here fighting, saying that nobody's life is perfect, that we all fall short. Okay? She said they think you're superior and live a perfect life. Yeah, and saying that I think I'm superior. No, Buki, you think I'm superior. I never said I was superior. She said, those people think that you are perfect because you don't put up with unhealthy and abusive behaviors. We don't agree on everything, but I respect you more. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. And we don't have to agree on everything. I don't agree with everything with my closest cool people, Tinkers, Glenn, Candy Girl, Levette. I don't agree with the people that I talk to almost every day. I mean, I don't agree with them always. I don't agree with everything that Jay says and does. He doesn't agree with everything that I say and do, right? But no, I will not put up with a disrespectful and unhealthy and abusive relationship. I will not. I will not. When I found out who I was, and I always say, I say this to the people I talk to when we talk about different things, I always try to give people grace when they say, oh, well, when they say things about certain people, I say, don't worry, the light's gonna come on for her. It's gonna come on. Our light come on at different times in our life. But I do believe it comes on. I just hope it's not too late when it comes on, but the light comes on. My light came on. I used to be an insecure person, very insecure. I was insecure with a lot of different things that I found out later. I'm like, what the hell am I insecure? I used to be insecure because I used to think my legs were so fat. Until people used to be like, oh my God, I love your legs. They're so thick. You got big, healthy legs. And I'm like, what? You like my legs? Because I didn't like my legs. Just different things that other people like about you that you don't even like. Right? So I used to be insecure with different things. But I'm not insecure with nothing anymore. I am who I am. And what I can't change, it ain't going to change. And what I can change, I'm willing to work on that. But if I can't change it, I'm not trying to. Right? But if I can change it, I'll work on it. Right? Exactly, Lisa. Thank you for that. Thank you. She said people need to learn that you're treated the way you let people treat you. That is so true. Absolutely. And a lot of things can be nipped in the bud with just pushback. You letting a person know, no, you're not going to do that with me. No, I'm not dealing. I'm not putting up with that with you. I'm not dealing with that in this relationship, especially if you've done it before. And I've said that. I told y'all before me and Jay got into it. This was a long time ago. He left the house. He left. He called back. Or you just let me walk out? And I said, oh, what, you wanted me to chase you? I'm not in the chasing business no more. I did that my last marriage, begging a nigga to stay. Please don't go. Please stay. Please don't go. I would never do that again. You want to go? Bye. I'm not begging nobody to stay. I'm not. I've done it before. I've done it before on bended knees. I've done it before. Blew up phones, calling the phone, calling and filled up the whole voicemail. Please pick up the phone. Please pick up the phone. I wouldn't do that shit no more. It's degrading. It made me feel like shit. I refuse to be in a relationship with someone that I gotta run behind. I gotta beg to listen to me. I gotta beg to be with me. I gotta beg to come home. I would never do that shit again. I know how it made me feel afterwards. And then when they do come home, you're like, damn, all this shit I did, all I had to do just to get them to say, okay, I'm on my way. I would never do that shit again. Now, it took me one time. It may take some women more than once. But I do believe the light will come on. So that's why sometimes I have grace for a person to say, it's okay. They're going through it right now, but the light will come on. It'll come on. So anyway, I encourage this young lady that I know that's listening to me right now. I encourage her that instead of just coming out on the internet and just spreading false lies, all because she's projecting what's going on in her relationship, to get out of your abusive relationship or go seek counseling together. Because if not, it's only going to get worse. It's only going to get worse. Okay? Tinker said, nobody said your life is perfect. It's just better than theirs. Now let them put that in their pipe and smoke it. Thank you, baby. And Rita said, this is why I follow and support you. You have been real and transparent from the beginning. Thank you, Rita. And I don't know no other way. And I said this before I came on this live. I said, now, wait a minute. Wait a minute. If Jay did call me a bitch, right? I wouldn't hesitate to come out here and tell you guys. But let me tell you why. Because I would tell you how we got past that. And maybe it would help somebody else. So I wouldn't lie to you guys and tell y'all he's never called me a bitch and missed the opportunity to tell you how you can fix it. You understand what I'm saying? I wouldn't do that. If he called me a bitch, I'm not going to save his ass for saying that he didn't. But I'm not going to lie on him and say he did when he have not. He has never called me a bitch. Sometimes when I used to hear y'all abuse stories, I used to try to relate to y'all. And I used to say, well, damn, like, how can I sympathize with them? Because I've never been punched. I've never been slapped in the face. I've never been drug across the floor. I've never been choked. Now, I've been chest bumped. I've been, well, not even chest bumped, but walked up on, and I became a drama queen. And I blew it all out of proportion and said, you chest bumped me, you chest bumped me. But I've never been punched. I've never been kicked. I've never been choked. I've never been those things. I've never been those things. Okay. So unfortunately, the young lady that that wants to project her life, the misery that she's living. And another thing, let me take it back a little bit, because people seem to think that and you know, and I'm gonna take accountability for that too. People want to think that I had the worst childhood ever, and that's my fault. That is my fault. And I'm gonna be honest with you. I did used to think that I had. Well, I did have a bad childhood. However, since being in this sector, I realized that compared to what some other people have been through, my childhood was bad, but it's people out there childhood was worse. Now, they may not have had to eat eggs out of a toilet, because y'all know I had to eat eggs out of a toilet, right? They may not have had to do that. But some of these people that we have encountered on this internet, I don't think that they've ever heard I love you, or you're somebody, or you're going to be somebody. I don't think that they've ever had a home, a two-parent home, or seen their parents or whoever raised them love on each other, cry together, laugh together, dance together. Okay? I did have that. You know, I did see that. I saw affection when I was younger. I saw it. I heard it. My mom and dad actually used to dance in the kitchen together. And when I say my mom and dad, I mean the people that adopted me. They danced in the kitchen together, to where now I picked that up from them. And my husband and I, we would dance together. We'll just break out, just sometimes just in passing, and we'll just start slow dancing with each other. And I get that from my upbringing, seeing them just dance together off this old ass music, OJ's and Sitting on the Docks of the Bay and Temptation. And they used to listen to that music, right? And they used to dance together in the kitchen. So even though I was abused as a child, and I still stand on saying I was abused, because I don't think that no child should be whooped with a extension cord. I think that's abuse. That's one of the reasons why I don't believe in hitting a child anymore, but it took me a minute to get there, right? But I don't think that a child should be beat with an extension cord or a taped up belt. I don't think a child should have to strip naked to be whooped. You understand what I'm saying? Just because you want to leave lashes on somebody's back or their butt, whelps and shit like that on their legs, that's abuse to me. Okay? Making somebody eat eggs out of trash, I mean, not the trash, but the toilet, is abuse to me. So I still stand and say I was abused. However, what I'm also seeing that people may not take as abuse is growing up with a mother that was a dope fiend, that sold her ass, that they walked in on the mom getting trains ran on them, or having their mother have multiple men come in and out of the house, that's abuse too. But a lot of people don't look at that as abuse. So they turn around and try to throw my childhood in my face because of I experienced abuse. But they don't want to count what they experienced as abuse. Some of these people got put in foster care or had to go live with their grandmama because they had a hoe for a mom, or a crack fiend for a mom, a dope head for a mom, right? Or an abuser for a dad. But they don't look at that as abuse because they don't feel like it was a direct effect to their life, but it was. It is a direct effect. And that's why they act the way they act to this day. So abuse come in all forms, and I would have hoped by now that we've learned that in this saga. But some of the very people that throw insults at me about my childhood has told me about their upbringing. And I would think being raised by a crackhead is abuse, because that means that your parent cared more about crack than they did you. Okay? So I think that we need to, and they may not, which, is fine with me because it doesn't bother me. I feel that I am healed for what I went through. And it just didn't happen overnight. It took work, and I put in the work. So to pick at my childhood because I had something directly happen to me, like I was beat with a extension cord and I was made to eat eggs out of the toilet, it doesn't outweigh you walking in and seeing your mom taking it from the back while sucking on somebody at the same time. That's abuse. Because you shouldn't be in the house when shit like that go down. If your mom wishes to engage in shit like that, you shouldn't be there. Or your mother should go somewhere else if something like that is going to take place. That's abuse. Your mama not feeding you for days. That's abuse. Your mama not having enough money and you don't have no grocery in the house or whatever, and you sucking out of ketchup packages. That's abuse. A lot of people like to downplay their abuse. Living in the house, in my opinion, with 18 kids in the house, that's abuse. Somebody is being neglected. Not growing up and seeing your mom and daddy love on each other, but they cuss each other out. They fighting back and forth with each other. That's abuse. But we don't want to talk about that, do we? No, we don't. So again, my heart goes out to these people that feel that I lived a perfect life, or they say, oh, you think you're superior because you don't get called a bitch, or you think you're superior because your man don't beat on you. No, I don't think I'm superior. I just think that I grew up and learned that I don't have to stay in a situation like that. I prayed and asked God to help me be in a position that I would not have to stay with a man for finances and sit there and take abuse. And all I can say is I hope one day for these younger women, the light comes on for them. The light comes on for them, and they realize they deserve better because they are better. But those that stay, and for whatever excuse that they have to stay, I just pray it changes one day. And I pray that it's not too late. Because sometimes we like to downplay these little small things. But I think if a man can ball up his fist and punch on you, then he can kill you. Now that's just what I feel. And for someone to tell me that, and they're still there, bragging on this man, uplifting this man, and making this man feel like or seem like they're the best person ever, I feel sad for you. I really feel sad for you. Especially when you sit on the side with people that drag another woman for the very thing. I feel sad for you. I really do. Nevertheless, I just wanted to come on here and clear the air and have an open conversation about if anybody has ever thought that because I said Jay has never called me a bitch and Jay has never put hands on me and Jay has never cheated on me, that I feel like I'm better than you guys. I don't. I don't feel like I'm better than anybody. But I do have boundaries. And that's something I had to learn. And that's something I'm going to continue to stand on. And if I can help anybody, any other female that don't already have boundaries, because I know it's not just me that have set boundaries. Some of you ladies, I've learned from you guys as well. Y'all have boundaries as well in y'all relationships. I know there's ladies out there that's not even married, and they probably not married because they're not going to let no man treat them any old kind of way. I applaud you, ladies. I applaud you, ladies. Okay? So I know it's not just me. And I know it's not just us on this side. I'm sure it's some others on the other side that we may not agree. I know that some of them are not going to allow a man to just knock them around and be disrespectful and treat them any kind of way. I applaud them as well. I don't think any woman should. You deserve better. You're worth more. So all I'm saying is, for anybody that may have taken me saying that I've never been called a bitch and never been hit on, punched on, kicked on, or abused by Jay, if people take that as me saying I have a perfect relationship, please, I'm here to tell you today, 27th of August, I don't have a perfect relationship. I've never had a perfect relationship. We have respect for each other, and it goes a long way. I respect him as a man and a leader in this household, and he respects me as his wife, as his helpmate. Do we fall short? Yes. Do we have to tap each other on the shoulder sometime? Yes. Just recently, trust me, we have to tap each other on the shoulder sometime. Jay's a very laid back guy. And one thing I love about him is not that he's never just not beat on me. His past relationships are the same. That's just who he is. And I'm just fortunate enough that he chose me. I don't know what it was, but I'm grateful. Okay. So she says, I'm adopted too and used to think I had a rough childhood, but over time I realized others had it worse. That's why I chose to raise my twins differently. Good job. And thank you so much, mama of twins. And same with me. I had to break the cycle of thinking that just because I was whooped, that it was okay to turn around and whoop my children. And I know some of us may feel different about this subject, okay? But I realized that whooping only did, in my opinion, did my children. Well, I never whooped my daughter. I mean, I popped on her butt here and there, but as far as picked up a belt and whooped her, never. But my son, I did up until he was 10 years old. I took a class, a parenting class, and I learned in that parenting class that you don't have to whoop your child. And I learned that taking something that they love away from them, it hurts them more. And not even necessarily hurt them, but it gets to them more than having to whoop them. I learned that. But I grew up thinking because I was whooped that that's what you're supposed to do to your child. And I chose to do different. So a popping, stop. Yeah, I've done that. But picked up a belt and made my kids strip down naked and whoop them. No, I don't do that. And we'll never do it. But I have whooped my son with a belt up until he was 10 years old, but I don't do it no more. Well, I mean, he grown now. My son probably snatched that belt and whooped me with it. but no, seriously. But I learned a lot. And I learned it a lot through trial, error, and wanting to know more. Sometimes, and I know I'm not the only one, because I feel like I wasn't taught properly as a child some things that I needed to know. I sought out for myself and I learned for myself through reading self-help books, and things of that nature, and going to counseling and asking questions. So I learned a lot on my own. I learned a lot on my own. I learned why kids don't throw these tantrums and things like that. I asked. I wanted to know, and I read books on those things. So all I'm saying is, when you know better, you do better. And a lot of these people are not doing any better because they don't know any better. When this saga first started in the beginning, and I had people used to come up on my panel and say things like, a man calling you a bitch, that's just what niggas do. They don't mean no harm by it. That's just how they talk. I was shocked. I was shocked. I'm like, wait a minute, what? You said what now? I was shocked and appalled that there are women 30 and 40 years old think that that's just how a man talk. How did we get here? How did we get to the point where we chopped up being disrespected as a woman? That's just how men talk. No. That's just how you allow him to talk to you. Proof of this. Let me tell you the proof of this. My sister, her son, he don't cuss around me. My nephew, he don't cuss around me. He's in his 30s. Even when he's slipping cuss, he said, oh, sorry, auntie. Sorry, auntie. I'm sorry, auntie. You want to know why he says, I'm sorry, auntie? Because he know I don't allow that. And he's in his 30s. But he does it around his mom, unfortunately, because she allowed it from the beginning. So when he said, oh, my bad, auntie, I kind of smile inside. Because they used to call me mean and say, oh, you so strict, you so strict. It wasn't that I was so strict. I set boundaries. I set boundaries. When they used to try to talk this Ebonic shit to me, short words me, I said, no. Try again. Don't talk like that to me. I don't know what that means. Speak English. When they text me with all this shorthand ass shit, I don't know what this means. Tell me what you're saying. Spell this shit out. Spell it out. I don't know what this means. Don't be E, B, and T in me, and A, B, and C, and F, I, N, G. I don't know what that means. What are you asking me? Right? So people treat you the way you allow them to treat you. So these young ladies that came up on my panel and said, that's just how men talk. They just call women bitches. That's just the thing. They don't mean nothing by it. That's just, I think one lady said it was a word of endearment or some shit she said. Y'all remember that? That's just a word of endearment. I said, what? Wait a minute, what? And I'm going to tell you something else. For these men that think that that's okay to call these women bitches, they parents failed them because their parents should have taught them better. That's not a word that you should be using to no woman, especially not one that you love, but no woman, period. But definitely not somebody that you're trying to call your girl, your wife. But no woman should be disrespected like that. Okay? So all I'm saying is, my heart goes out to these young ladies. I hope one day that they realize that they deserve better and they can get better. A lot of women think that men love these wigs and weaves and lashes and makeup and the bad tight clothing, the high heel shoes and this, that, and the other. I'm going to tell you what a man loves more than anything. He loves a woman that respects herself. I'm letting y'all know that. Men can point that shit out a mile away. They love a woman that has respect for herself. And it shows. How it shows, they'll push your envelope. And when you just laugh it off and allow it to happen, they know where they can stand with you. But when you look at him eye to eye and say, no, I don't deal with that. No, you got the wrong one. I don't tolerate that. Or what did you just say to me? Come again? Then they know they can't play with you like that. They know you ain't going for that. But if you say it and then you have to keep saying it again and again and again, then they're going to play with you because you done said it more than once and you ain't did shit about it. And what I mean by doing shit about it, I mean leaving. Like for real, leaving. Why are you leaving? Because I don't tolerate your behavior. Because your behavior is for somebody else, not me. Okay? All this extra stuff, how we enhance our stuff, that's all it is enhancements. That's it. It's enhancements. When I went and got lashes and I said, babe, how you like them? Oh, I love that. But I love you without lashes too. You understand what I'm saying? They love the enhancements, but do they still love you? He says, oh, I like it. It's cute. But I like the way your lashes look without the lashes. I like that. Okay? So again, men treat you the way you let them treat you. You answer to, hey, shorty, hey, yo, baby, hey, shorty, come here, shorty. If you answer to that, that's how he's going to talk to you. You respond to that, that's how they're going to talk to you. When someone says shorty, you're supposed to keep looking down, or, I say shorty, but whatever disrespectful word. I didn't like that. Hey, shorty bullshit. Hey, shorty, no. So when guys used to approach me, it was, hey, ma'am, or hey, LT. Excuse me, ma'am. That's how I get approached. Excuse me, ma'am. Excuse me, ma'am. So, nevertheless, a man will treat you the way you allow him to treat you, period. She said, I haven't spoken to my daughter's dad in over a year because he called me a B, and we've been broke up for years, never did when we were together, so he thought it was cool now. Yeah, okay, no. I remember when my ex and I had split up long time ago, and we were having a conversation about our daughter, and he raised his voice at me, and I hung up the phone, and he called me back and said, you just hung up the phone on me. And I said, yeah, because you don't get to yell at me no more. You don't have those privileges. We ain't married. So when you learn how to talk to me with respect, I will talk to you on the phone. Until then, don't call me. So what did he do? Okay. Just hear me out. Okay. I'm gonna hear you out. But he understood from that day forward, you can't yell at me. You can't scream at me just because you mad. Go do that to somebody else. I'm not hearing it. Okay? You're not raising your voice at me. We can have inside voices. We can talk to each other like adults. Bring it down. Let's talk like adults. We are no longer kids. And any adults letting a man talk to them like a kid, then you're wrong. You're not going to little girl me. You're not going to talk to me like a kid because you are an adult and you want to be treated like an adult. So you're going to treat me like an adult. Not screaming at me like we on some playground because we ain't on no playground. I'm standing right here. You don't need to raise your voice at me. I can hear you fine. Right? So sometimes we have to remind each other, let's bring it down. I'm not a kid. You're not about to yell at me. You're not going to overtalk me. I'm not going to overtalk you. I'm not going to treat you like a child, and you're not going to treat me like a child. Yelling at somebody is treating them like a child. Okay? We don't have to treat each other like kids. We are grown ass 50-plus-year-old adults. And that's just how I stand. Nevertheless, again, I just came on here and I just wanted to let you guys know if I've ever made anybody think that my life was perfect, absolutely not. None of us are perfect, but some of us do set boundaries. We set boundaries in our relationship. We set boundaries in our friendships. We set boundaries in our families. Sometimes we lay those boundaries down later or a little bit later when that light come on, when we realize that we deserve better. She said, this is some grown woman shit. Respect goes a long way. Absolutely. I do not, and I mean do not go to a fourth with no one. What do you mean by go to a fourth, Bonita? Amor, we never thought that at all. They think that and assume that. Yeah, obviously they do because baby talking about, oh, she thinks she's so superior. Me think I'm superior? No, 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 no. Superior? No, no. But there's nothing wrong with knowing that you your standards are above others. I do believe that my standards are above some other women's standards. Yeah, I would never stoop down to put up with some of the things that I see some of these women put up with. I wouldn't do it. Like I wouldn't date a dude that rode a bike unless we was in Italy or a city where most people ride bikes. No, but you're not. No, 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 no. I'm not gonna put up with a man that don't have his shit together and he's a much older guy. No, I wouldn't. No, when you get your shit together, then you come back and holler at me. Now, if I'm in my 20s or something like that, yeah, okay, we growing together. I get it. But 40 and 50-year-olds, and you in between jobs, and you got this going on, and you sleeping on your mama couch, and this, that, and the other, I ain't gonna put you down. You're just not for me. So I do believe that my standards are a little different. But this is where I'm at in my life. Have I always felt this way? Probably not. But what I look like, late in age, trying to deal with somebody that ain't got their shit together. No, I don't want that. That's hard work. People will only do what you allow. If you accept disrespect, you're teaching them that it's okay. If you set boundaries and stand firm, you're teaching them to respect you. Absolutely. Thank you, sis. Absolutely. Absolutely. When I'm hearing girls say, oh, he doesn't have a car right now, but, he doesn't have a car, but I let him use my car and this, that, and the other. And I just be side-eyeing them like, huh? I can see if you're in a city that don't need a car, like some places in New York, you don't need a car. Some of these places that have these trains and these bus systems or whatever, you don't need a car, right? She said, never dummy yourself down for anyone. They just don't accept the fact that you know your worth and they still accepting any and everything. That part. That part. She said a bike, what are you gonna do? Pull up? Well, I do know women that date men with bikes. I just I remember my sister telling me one time, she was like, I need to leave here because all these men are riding around here on bicycles. I can't find no decent man down here. They just be riding. Man, it take my sister to come in and tell that story. Boy, she'll have us cracking up. You hear me? She said, all these men around here ride on bicycles. I don't need none of these guys. I need to leave this place. All these men they just ride around on bikes. All I can do is laugh. All I can do is laugh. So anyway, but I just wanted to come on here right quick. I hope you guys are having a marvelous morning so far. I had my coffee, you know. I woke up a couple of hours ago and I was strolling and then I just so happened to was talking to somebody and she was like, did you see this? And I was like, see what? And then I was like, no. And I was like, really? What? Nah, not at all. She said, my mom used to say, you got to stand for something or fall for anything. That's right. And you do. And I'm a firm believer. I just feel like us females, we may not be taught to know our worth right out the gate, right? When you leave your home, you may not feel that you are worthy of better, right? And sometimes it takes some reassuring. But I think that no matter how much somebody else tell you that you're valuable and that you are beautiful and that you are important and that you are enough, I think that you have to realize it for yourself. Like I could tell you, your mama can tell you, your best friend can tell you, your man can tell you. But until you realize it yourself, you're not gonna get it. But it's something that you realize. I'm telling you, it was almost like a light came on for me. I was having a conversation with myself. Now, I know they say if you talk to yourself that you're crazy, but call it whatever you will and may. But I was having a conversation with myself. And it just dawned on me. And I was like, wait a minute. I'm a total ass package. I literally told myself that in my 30s. I was like, I am a total package. I started naming things. And I was like, I got that. I've done that. I've been there. I have this. I am this. This is me. This is me. So I realized I was a total package. And I said, why am I putting myself down so low? Why am I questioning my capabilities? Why am I wondering, am I worthy? I am worthy. And I start seeing me. And ever since then I've been dangerous as far as I would not accept a guy treat me any old kind of way, talking to me any old kind of way, responding to me any old kind of way. I told y'all I broke up with a dude because he told my daughter when she was 3 years old that she couldn't paint nails. He told her, he said, you did a horrible job. Don't ever do that again. I said, what? What'd you say to my daughter? My daughter started crying. I said, nah, bro, you gotta go. You gotta leave. I know you ain't gonna make me leave over me being honest. No, you got to leave. You got to leave. He told my daughter she could not paint nails. Now, some women probably would have just laughed it off and, just said, may have said, don't say that no more. That was the straw for me. That was the straw. It was okay for you to hurt her feelings and say, well, I didn't lie. What you want me to do? Lie to her? No, you gotta go. It's not about lying to our kids, but sometimes we have to instill, we have to encourage our kids, instill confidence in our kids. Confidence to, if you tell a child they did a good job, they'll want to do it again and again and again. And then, I ain't gonna say practice make perfect, but they'll get better over time, right? But for you to try to kill somebody's confidence at 3, get the out my face. Do you understand me? So anyway, she said, we are encouraged ourselves by speaking life into ourselves. Yes, you do have to speak life into yourself. You do, and you have to realize it, not just speak it, but believe it. You got to believe it. You can do it. You are better. So anywho, some people get more chances than others. I'm not. I don't. Not in that regard. She said, I dumped a whole dude for counting cookies. He counted cookies. Oh my God. Like literally counted cookies. Oh yeah, no, you gotta go. Counting cookies for. She said, yeah, my patience real short since I turned 41. One wrong move blocked. Exactly why I never brought a man around my daughter until she was 17. Because baby, oh no. Yes. And that's why you should be careful with bringing people around your kids. Because we're very protective of our kids. We should be anyway, But my daughter was 3. And he told my daughter that she did a horrible job. Did you paint your mama nails? My daughter had the biggest smile ever. Yes. He said, don't ever do that again. You did a horrible job. Horrible, horrible job. Don't do that. And I looked at that dude. My daughter started crying. I'm like, did you just tell a 3-year-old that? Oh no, dude, you gotta go. You gotta go. Something wrong with you. You mental, right? She said, I honestly wish some of this stuff I knew when I was a lot younger. But you know what? You may have wished you knew it was a lot younger, but you learned it in enough time, Now I say, Tamara, if I knew then what I know now, girl, we would be too dangerous if we knew then what we know when we get older, we would be too dangerous. You know what I'm saying? They wouldn't know what to do with us. So I do think that we just learned it at the right time. We learned it at the right time. Exactly. Too dangerous. If we knew then what we know now, we probably wouldn't even be in a relationship. Wouldn't no guy be able to handle us, Thank you, TC sis. She said, hey, more and let's talk about it. Family stopping through to show some love, killing a child confidence will have them doubting their real potential. Exactly. And I want to say this. Your confidence do come, well, your initial confidence, because you can get it back as an adult, because I did. But it can be killed or destroyed at a younger age. That's when you build confidence, when you're younger. But I will say this, over time, you can get your confidence back. Let's just say, because I grew up not being confident in myself because of little things said, this and that, you know. However, I was able to get my confidence back. But that was after I started loving myself. I started loving what I did, and I think that anybody should. I have this scar under my chin. I don't even know if you guys have ever paid attention to it, but it's a scar where I flipped over my bicycle and bust my chin, had a piece of glass in my chin, had to go get stitches, right? I was like young, like in the fourth grade or something like that, fourth or fifth grade. But I used to be so insecure about this scar, and I used to feel like it made me have a long chin or whatever. And I didn't like it for a very, very long time. But I had to look at myself in the mirror one day and I looked at my scar and I said, I like my scar. It shows that I've been through something, you know, even though I just flipped over the handlebars of my bike. But it reminds me of the fact that that's how I learned that a 10-speed bike brakes wasn't to paddle backwards. My ass is paddling backwards trying to figure out why the hell it wouldn't stop. So when I started screaming and someone said, you gotta squeeze the handlebars. You gotta squeeze the handlebars. I'm like, what? Squeeze the handlebars. And I squeezed the handlebar and flipped over that pit. It stopped and I flipped over it. But I learned that day that the brakes on a 10-speed is on the handles. I learned the hard way. And this scar is to that it teaches me, it shows me that that's when I learned how to put brakes on a bicycle on a 10-speed. But I like my scar. I like all the little scars that I have on my body because it reminds me of something that I went through in my life. So I started embracing that. I started embracing they call my chink eyes. I started embracing my chink eyes. I used to hate my chink eyes. I used to try to purposely buck my eyes so they wouldn't close when I smile or when I laugh. But now I embrace my chink eyes. I embrace everything about me, period. It's hard when people hurt you at a younger age. It makes you grow up not what, Veronica? It makes you grow up what? I used to give a lot of chances because that's the way my heart is set up. But now that I'm older, I will give some a hard way to go and a short time to get there. Yes, I do. And I spoke about this before. I do think at a certain age in our life that we learn the word no, and we're comfortable with telling people no. Because sometimes it's so uncomfortable saying no. No, it was uncomfortable for me for a long time. And when I said it, it made me feel so empowered. I'm like, I did it. I felt like a fucking kid, like I just learned how to tie my shoe. I did it. I said no, and I feel good about it. And I don't feel bad. And I don't feel sad. And I don't feel guilty. I said no. I felt like a grown up. Like it was almost like I just grew up, even though I was already a grown up when I learned it. I learned no as a grown up, and I felt like I just grew up. I'm glad I learned how to say no. I used to feel so guilty, feel like, oh man, I got to figure it out. Even if I'm struggling, or even if I got to put me on the back I would just always say yes, 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 yes. Okay, 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 okay. But when I learned how to say no, shit, I don't think I unlearned it. You know, I have 4 daughters, and I refrain from them being in relationships after their daddies with because of my salvation, my girls, my peace, my self-esteem, and self-worth priceless. Oh, you refrain from being in a relationship until your daughters became older. Oh, I see what you're saying. It's amazing feeling when you truly fall in love with yourself, embracing your flaws, and all it took me a while to get there. But it's amazing. It's absolutely amazing because when people say things that used to be, used to make you feel away, when they say it now, all you do is smile. Like, like that doesn't hurt me no more. If you would have caught me 10 years ago, baby, you know what I'm saying? But that doesn't hurt me no more. When Somebody, this is how you know you're grown too, right? I mean, that you're there, that you really love yourself. It's when what used to hurt you no longer affects you whatsoever, no longer bothers you whatsoever. That's how you know that you have grown. But if something that used to hurt you 5 years ago and it still hurts you today, that means that you haven't grown past that. You're still there. Why are some men intimidated by a strong, independent woman? I do think that there are some men intimidated by strength because they're not used to seeing strength. Okay, whether it was their mom wasn't strong, or their sister wasn't strong, or they have not learned to deal with a woman of strength, you know, and it makes them feel smaller and inadequate. So unless they've been with a strong woman, they don't know how it feels. They don't know what to do. So I do believe that some men are intimidated. It's because either they want to be in control and want to run over that woman, or they just haven't learned how to embrace the strength of a woman because they wasn't taught that. They didn't see it coming up, and they have never experienced it thus far. Nook the book said, Bridget, because there are weak men, I love a strong woman. And Nook, just like like my husband, there are men that love strong women. Love a woman is not gonna, allow them to run over them. My husband has told me that plenty of times. He's told me that plenty of times. My husband didn't want me to be no. I think when my husband called me that day, he wasn't my husband then, it was just my boyfriend, and he said, "Oh, you weren't gonna stop me from leaving?" And I said, "Oh, that's what you thought? You thought I was gonna chase you? Oh, no, 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 no. You got the wrong one. And if you're looking for that, I'm gonna need you to go look elsewhere because that's not me." I think my husband probably said, "Damn, I got a winner right here. I got a winner right here." You know? It's intimidating them. He ain't for you. If it's intimidating, then he's not for you because the one for you won't be intimidated. Exactly. And my husband is not a overly aggressive guy. He's not overly aggressive at all. But I do believe that if I was the pushover type of woman, that he would have took, I think that he would have pushed the boundaries, but I'm not a pushover. That's why I teach my girls everything I went through, let slide, and had a hard time doing while explaining details so they know. Yeah, yeah. One thing about both of my daughters that I'm kind of, even though it hurts seeing them go through it, but I'm kind of glad that they did at a younger age, is we all experience hurt in our lives, right? Whether it's relationships, friendships, family, or whatnot. But I think that when you experience hurt in your relationship as an older person, I think it hurts worse, especially if you have never experienced it as a younger person. But when you're younger and if you've experienced that hurt, you still got mommy around or maybe even daddy around that they can talk you through it. But a hurt older woman, baby, that's a scorned ass woman right there. You hear me? When a woman get hurt in her 40s and 50s, she becomes a scorned woman unless she goes seek help. But when a woman get hurt in her 20s and her 30s, I think they still have time to bounce back because they have people pouring into them and telling them how amazing they are. And, yeah, it's okay. You went through that and you deserve better. And, they're still young enough to kind of figure it out, right? But as an older person, no, baby, they scorn because they're not about to do that again. They scorn. They become a scorned woman, you know? They probably don't let their guard down, and if they do, they're going to come with a different angle, and it's going to be probably toxic going into it because they're going to try to treat that next guy bad because of the way they was treated, and it's just going to go wrong. She said therapy is a game changer. Absolutely. Absolutely. Therapy is a game changer. But therapy only if you're being honest. See, I was honest in therapy. A lot of people go in therapy and they hold back. They don't tell how they truly feel. When you go in there and they say, "How you feeling today?" Like shit, right? When you're being honest, right? Like shit. like a failure, like a dumbass, like an idiot, right? But a lot of us, you say, how you doing today? I'm fine. How was your week? Everything was fine. You good? Yes, everything good, right? But you got to be honest when you're going to counseling. You definitely have to be honest. Honest with yourself and honest with your therapist. How you feel today? Be honest, right? I feel crappy. I feel like shit. I feel like the wires are crossing in my head, right? I feel like I'm spinning, right? Or something, just be honest. So anyway, thank y'all for showing up. I have physical therapy today. I am getting me together, y'all. I'm excited about that because I've been just dealing with this hurt knee for a while. And I decided I get, my insurance pays for it. And I'm just sitting around twirling my thumbs. And I'm like, Amor, what are you doing? Because if you don't go get this damn knee together, right? And I'm going to be straight up. My doctor was like, okay, you don't have like bone to bone or anything like that. You don't need no knee surgery, but you need to take some weight off of that knee. You need to strengthen up your core muscles. You need to strengthen up your glutes and your thighs and get some of that weight off of your knee. When you're not strong in your core area or your glutes or your thighs, all that weight up top comes down on your knee. So we're on a mission to get some weight off. So y'all gonna see your girl thinning out here soon because I gotta get some weight off. I gotta get some weight off my knee. And so I am definitely in therapy for 8 weeks. And if I gotta do another 8 weeks, I'm gonna do another 8 weeks. But I'm definitely gonna get me together so I could stop feeling like my leg's gonna come out from underneath me. Because I've almost fell like one or two times. My leg just feel like it's gonna slip from underneath me. And I'm like, is this? Because my knee is weak. My left knee is weak. So it's been fun. I've been feeling it. Shit, all my muscles all in my damn ass and my thighs burning like crazy. But I'm not gonna stop. I'm gonna keep on, and keep it on until I get myself back right. So I used to go walk 4 miles a day. I can't do it no more because my knee is just horrible. So I'm gonna get me together. She said I start Pilates tomorrow. Yes, I heard Pilates was excellent, girl. I tried Pilates before. Pilates will get you right, but I didn't stick to it like I should have. But I have tried it. But yeah, I heard Pilates will get you right. But I'm gonna keep on and I'm gonna get some of this weight off my knee. I'm really not I'm bigger now than I've ever been in my life, even though I'm not no 400 pounds. I ain't no whale or nothing, but I'm used to being more of a smaller athlete built person. So I just got to shed about 20 to 30 pounds and get this weight off my knee. Definitely. So I'm gonna become a thinner version real soon. Y'all gonna be like, damn girl, damn. Somebody just text me. Has been what? Let me see. Hold on. Somebody just sent me something. What is this? Oh, thank you, Penny. Thank you. Penny sent me a cup of coffee for breakfast. Appreciate you, Penny. Thank you. And somebody else just sent me something else, and it says, wait a minute, what did you just send me? Uh, Trying to open it. What is this? Oh, wow. Okay, so Diddy sexual battery lawsuit has been dismissed. Wow. Yeah, that joker, boy, listen. Okay, so Diddy's sexual battery lawsuit has been dismissed as a judge says the clock ran out. Oh, wow. The clock ran out. What even that does that mean? Is it past the statute of limitation or something? It says while he was sitting in jail waiting sentencing in his federal criminal case, he can now celebrate a civil lawsuit filed by a guy who claimed the module drugged him and sexually assaulted him in a nightclub. Oh, It says the lawsuit was filed back in February, and the plaintiff said he was an up and coming 23-year-old artist in 2015 when he scored a gig at the LA nightclub where Diddy was in attendance. The alleged details sound like several other Diddy lawsuits. The John Doe plaintiff claimed he was given a drink, fell unconscious, and woke up to Diddy having unwanted sexual contact with him. Damn. But in the lawsuit filed by attorney Busby, the John Doe claimed Diddy threatened his future career if he resisted. But a New York judge says that the John Doe waited too damn long to file the lawsuit in the state. And according to the order obtained by TMZ, the case is now dismissed. The judge says there was a 5-year statute of limitation when the alleged assault went down. She also noted a new law passed in 2019 extending the statute to 20 years is not retroactive and therefore does not apply in this case. Damn, damn, damn. Damn, 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 damn. So he won't get a dime, y'all. He won't get a dime. He won't get a dime. Mm-mm-mm. Anyway, so we're coming back later after I come back from physical therapy, and we will be doing oh, she said yes, Penny Cash at me. Thank you, Candy Girl. We will be doing a live about this pastor out of Nashville that basically was living a double life, and the receipts and everything came forward, and his wife and the congregation just still stood beside him. And not saying that they don't have to stand beside him, but damn, like, we're gonna talk about it, y'all. We're gonna talk about it because we might have a difference of opinion, but we're definitely gonna talk about it. So that's what my live is gonna be about today. Okay, I was supposed to do it yesterday, but y'all, I got tired and I just wanted to just spend some time with my babe. And so that's what I did last night. She said, are we still talking about the DL pastor? Yes, we are. Y'all can look him up. His name is Fred Matthews, baby. Listen. The T. His name is, let me show y'all a picture of this joker. Oh my God. Anyway, I ain't even gonna say it. I was gonna say it, but I ain't gonna say it. Jesus. Let me just show y'all a picture of this guy. I don't know. For some reason I could just spot happy people a mile away. Some people can't, but I could just spot happy people, but I don't know, y'all. But this joker right here, honey, he was called Red Handed. But we're gonna talk about him later, okay? Now the story is a couple of months old, but we still gonna talk about it. She said, clock it, I'll be watching. LOL, hello chat. Hey, let's talk blog. Girl, have you heard about this story? Because baby, the receipts. I just kind of want to know y'all opinion as far as a wife, as a woman, as a first lady. Like, would you stay? Anyway, we're gonna have this conversation when we come back on live. But baby, I'm just like, damn. Pastor, anyway, he still has his church. She said, yes, I covered it. I can send you all the receipts. Oh, yeah. Here, let me, I didn't know you covered it. Let me give you my email. Talk about it with Amora at Gmail. Hold on. Send them to me. Because I do have the text messages. And let me tell you, the text messages, they saw this man on camera coming in and out of the Airbnb. And this joker had the nerve to say that, yeah, I sent the text. Yeah, we was in conversation. Yeah, that was me going in the Airbnb, but I felt convicted and I turned around. Oh, what? Joker, stop playing. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Because, babe, I'm just hearing about the story a couple of days ago. So I didn't even know about it. But when I read about it, I'm like, oh my God. Like, I don't know. But anyway, we're going to talk about it later when we come back, you guys. Let's Talk says she's going to send me the digits on that. So I'm going to look and see what she have and bounce it off the receipts that I already have. She said, you have to walk them through it more. It's a saga. So I ain't going to be able to tell it all in one day is what you're saying. I just don't get it. Do you know they just recently promoted him or gave him some type of notorious award in the church or whatever? Like, they praise people like this. I guess. I don't know. I don't know, but it is what it is. She said it's all over Facebook. J Rock exposed him. He tried to deny it, but J Rock had all the receipts on him. Yes, J Rock definitely exposed him. And they got mad at J Rock. They started trying to come after him and saying what God gonna do to him. Why do people do that though? Why do people say God gonna get you for exposing a man of God or somebody that pretends to be the man of God? I don't get it. Yeah. God, how God gonna get you and God ain't gonna get him or anybody else? You got a video on it? I'll go look at your video. She said, let's talk blog. I did watch your commentary on it. That was just a few much. Anyway, it's crazy, but we definitely gonna talk about it. He's still a pastor. She said it was J Rock, how J Rock pastor did him for me. Oh yeah. Because these pastors stick together. They stick together. And I think the reason why they stick together because they know they're doing some shit on their own. Now, I do think that some pastors are going to call it out, right? But some are not. Hold on, let me read what you said. Now, this is off the subject, but did y'all see the news story about ChatGPT helping a teen commit suicide along with helping him compose a letter? Yes. Yes, I saw that just this morning. I did. I saw that. And the lady is suing. She is suing. And they were like, oh, we're trying to train ChatGPT on how to deal with mental issues. You know what I mean? I'm like, now they about to send ChatGPT through counseling. Yes, but ChatGPT helped him compose a suicide letter. Yep, I did. She said, Amor, did you see the story where the wife was unalived after going to get her husband from his mistress' house? I didn't see it. Somebody said it when they first came in the chat, but I have not seen that. I think Tanya Bailey may have sent me that story about was the girl in Nashville, Tennessee? She's I'm posting about ChatGPT story right now. Yes, I heard about the ChatGPT story this morning. I'm gonna post about it too, Ruthana. She's I ran to the TV. Yes. But I'm gonna tell you about ChatGPT. ChatGPT, you have to put certain things in there and it'll respond to you, but it responds based on like it doesn't always agree with you. I can't say it always agree with you, but it kind of respond and lean toward a more positive approach with you, I guess, if you will. But like say for instance, if you say, do you think it's a good idea for me to do XYZ? It'll say, yeah, it's a good idea, but let me tell you why, right? But then it'll also say, but if you're not feeling that way, or if you're thinking otherwise, then you could do this. So it gives you alternate it gives you other alternatives, okay? But the chat GPT, apparently this particular AI, the guy was already feeling that way. And chat GPT basically like, well, if you're feeling that way, then yeah, basically go ahead and do that. But they're saying that they have to teach chat GPT to deal with mental issues. But ChatGPT will kind of lean toward whatever you're feeling. Like if you say, should I do this or should I do that? It may tell you, well, that may not be a good idea. You might want to do this or whatever. But if you say, but I just been feeling like doing it for a long time now or whatever, it say, okay, well, if you're feeling like doing that, then you might as well just go ahead and do it. But let me tell you how to do it. You know what I mean? I mean, it's not funny, it's sad, but we'll not on this live, but maybe that'll be a part of my next live. I don't know if I'll be able to fit that in there, but we'll talk about it another time. I'll actually bring up the story and whatnot, and we'll talk about it. So anyway, but thank y'all for pointing to me. I haven't even set a goal, and you guys still came in pouring. That's what I'm talking about. Thank you, Jazzy, for updating your membership. It looks like you did it twice, though. But thank you. Thank you, Ramblin'. Appreciate you updating your membership. Thank you, Tinkerbell, Binky Bink, Tinkerbell again. Rita M. I am Glenn. More your supporters love you. I love you. You are perfect and appear. You are perfect and appear to be perfect in the eyes of hurt people. It's projection. Thank you, big sis. Love you back, baby. Thank you, Saga AI. You might have to adopt some of these hurt people and give them the advice their deadbeat, dope head, absent parents never gave them. You're their mama now. I do. It does feel like that sometimes, Saga AI. Thank you, babe. Appreciate you. Mama of twins. I'm adopted too and used to think that I had a rough childhood, but over time I realized others had it worse. And that's why I chose to raise my twins differently. Yes. Yes. Thank you, baby, so much for that. And Vera, thank you. Good morning. We love your transparency. Love you back. Benita, thank you. I'm so excited to catch the live. Miss Sonia C, thank you. Candid Eye. People will only allow, yep, they'll treat you the way you let them. Thank you. Thank you, Candy. Thank you, Vibing with TC. Let's get back to this for a second, then we're gonna get off. I'm gonna tell y'all something. Y'all want to know why adopted kids feel that they were treated bad? I'm gonna tell y'all why. Hold on a second. Now, I don't know about all adopted kids because I'm sure some kids probably don't even know they're adopted, right? Some of their parents don't even tell them they're adopted until they're much, much older. But when other smaller children find out that you adopted, they tend to treat you bad. They tend to think it's a joke. Like it becomes a bullying tactic. Okay. They're like, oh, your parents didn't love you. So you grow up hearing that shit from other people. Your parents didn't love you. You was given away. They didn't want you. They didn't want you. The same shit that I hear from grown ass people on this here internet, on YouTube, they saying all this. Oh, that's why you was thrown away. That's the same shit that fourth and fifth graders do. That's what they say. That's what they say in the sixth grade. That's the same shit that you hear in elementary school. Oh, your parents didn't want you, this, that, and the other. So that's another reason why a lot of adopted kids feel that they wasn't treated good as kids, because they probably have faced some type of bullying, unless one, they didn't find out until a later age. She said, damn, I didn't find out until I was 19. Damn, 19. Wow. That's crazy though. That's crazy. You didn't find out until you was 19. You thought that was your real parents until you was 19? Damn. I don't know how I would take that though. I think that would feel away. Anyway, but yeah. So that's another reason why we feel that we've had a bad end of the stick, because we already with parents that are not our parents, right? And we already hearing that our real parents didn't want us. So we already feeling neglected, or not even neglected, but rejected. We already feeling rejected, right? But then on top of that, any whooping that we get, we're going to feel is extreme because it ain't coming from our real parents. You got this person that adopted us beating our asses, right? But I still feel like I was abused, because I just feel like getting beat with a stitcher cord is abuse, and eating eggs out the toilet is abuse. But I wonder, will I have felt that way if it was my biological parent? Because I think a lot of people that still have their biological parent probably went through worse shit than me, and they don't feel like that they was abused because it happened from their biological parent. But it happened to me by somebody that wasn't my biological parent, But anyway, I just threw that out there. But I don't know about you, mama twins, but I don't know if you received that type of treatment when you was younger, being told your parents didn't want you and shit like that or whatever. But it's not a good feeling, but you get through it. But to hear grown adults say that shit now is laughable to me. And especially at 52, they be saying shit. That's why your mama threw you away when you was younger. How does that affect me? How does that affect me now? I'm not one going around hollering, I miss my mama. My mama died ever since I was 2 and I miss my mama. That ain't me. You know. I wonder if it's better to find out later so you won't feel different or teased. Ugh. I don't know. I just think 19, like, I don't know how I feel. I think I would probably feel like, I don't know. I probably would feel like, why did you ever tell me? You know? A lot of kids live a lot of kids' lives live to better than the ones with their biological parents. Yeah, a lot of adopted kids probably live better, a lot, but not, I don't know about me. I mean, I will say this. I will say that we had a home, we had a house, we had a fence, we had 2 cars, we had a dog. I mean, we had a brick house too. So we wasn't poor. My daddy worked at Callaway Chemical. He made $60,000 a year when I was young. So I mean, we wasn't poor. I can't say we were poor. I didn't grow up poor. We grew up eating Oreos and Frosted Flakes and Apple Jacks and Fruit Loops and shit. I only say that because my husband said, "See, you grew up eating Oreos. We grew up eating cookies." And I said, he said, "You grew up eating Doritos. We grew up eating chips." I said, what is that supposed?" He said, "No, your shit had names to it. I was didn't." He said the cookies we ate said cookies. The chips we ate said chips. So anyway, sometimes he made me laugh when he said that shit. He was like, "Nah, you grew." He was like, "Babe, I'm telling you, you grew up rich." I said, "We did not grow up rich." "Yes, you did." He said, "Your parents took you to where did we go? We went to where is that in Atlanta? It's not in Atlanta, but we used to go almost every year. Something garden. I can't even think of it. What is it? Garden? It's like an amusement park or something. Whatever it is, it's something garden. But we used to go. That used to be one of our summer trips. But we also went fishing and did shit like that too. But I hated that shit. Fishing though, I ain't like that. Is it not Callaway Garden? I can't remember what it was, but anyway, it's some type of amusement park near Atlanta area that we went to. But we had summer trips. No, not Botanical Garden. Let me tell you what it is. Hold on. Yeah, Busch Garden. Thank you, thank you, thank you. We went to Busch Garden, when I was little. My husband said, "We didn't go to those type of places when I was little." Shit, we didn't do that type of shit. He said, my husband said, "Driving into Memphis was a treat for us, and that was 45 minutes away." But we traveled, you know what I'm saying? Our parents took us places. So since I didn't find out my biological name until 2008, my adopted mom held information from me until I guess she felt like I could be okay learning certain stuff. I didn't know my biological folks not alive. Wow. Oh, so it's more than one person adopted it here? Okay, girl. She said, "I found out I was adopted from some cousins during a sleepover when I was 10. My adopted parents never got the chance to tell me themselves." Oh, wow. Wow. Okay. Okay. Yeah. I was asked did I want to be adopted, and I didn't even know what the hell it was, to be honest with you. But I said yeah because my siblings said yeah. But I mean, what I'm gonna say? No, I want to stay in this damn foster care. No, I don't want to be adopted. You know what I mean? I don't know if I would have said no anyway. She said, "I love hearing life stories. It really made me think about life." Yes. I like hearing life stories too. We got no frills. My New York family should know. Listen, but I'm glad I was adopted. And let me tell you why. Even though it wasn't the best house, um, my mom was in an abusive relationship. My biological father was abusive to her. He was. And I would have grew up seeing that. But we didn't, I don't remember it. I ain't gonna say I never seen, I don't remember seeing it, but I was two. So I don't know who remembers when they was two. I don't remember my daddy and my mama. I don't remember 2 years old. Okay. So but I heard he was abusive and he admitted it. He admitted he was abusive and she told me he was abusive or whatever. And not only just them told me, we heard it through other family members that he was abusive. But I would have grew up in that. I never grew up seeing a man hit a woman. Like even in my adopted family, my dad never hit my mom. Not that I've seen, but I did see him. He punched the refrigerator before, but he never hit my mom that I know of. I don't think that he's that type of guy either. You know, he raised his voice. I heard him raise his voice before, you know. And when he hit that refrigerator, he left a dent in it because he was mad. But he wasn't abusive. And he gave my mama his whole check. My mama didn't work. And my adopted mom, she didn't work. She was a stay-at-home. Well, she babysat kids here and there, but like, she didn't work outside the home. But my dad would come home and My mama was over all the money in the house. He would give her his check, and he would only get an allowance. You don't even see that much no more, that the man just hand over his check to his wife and let the wife take care of everything financially, and she just give him an allowance. Most guys ain't gonna do that these days. You know what I mean? They're gonna be like, hell no, where your cut? Where your half? You know what I'm saying? They don't do that, you know? So anyway, but my daddy had a hot meal every day. Every day he had a hot meal. And on the weekends, he had breakfast and dinner hot. A hot ass meal. Like I'm talking about the whole nine, the pork chops, the black eyed peas, the rice, the cornbread, the cabbage. A hot ass meal every day. You know? She said, where's your family that adopted you? Are they alive? Yeah, they still alive. They still there, but I communicate with them very little. I ain't gonna say I don't communicate with them because that would be a lie. Every now and again, maybe once or twice a year, but I chose to write them off. My adopted mom was not a very nice person. She's still not a nice person. But she doesn't think that she's a mean person, but she is. She's a spirit killer, you know. She's a vibe killer. I don't even think she does it on purpose. That's just who she is. But if you don't mind the subtle letdowns or put downs or whatever, then she's a okay person. But she's a one-upper. I hate people like that. Not hate, like I just hate their behavior. I don't like people that always try to one up you. You tell them your accomplishments and they try to downplay it by telling you about somebody else's accomplishment or whatever. They just try to downplay what you got going on in your life. And that's how she is. She never clapped for me, ever. She always found a way to let me know that somebody else did it better, shit like that. And it started bothering me and eating at me. And I made this decision years ago. Like I'm talking years ago, like almost 15. Well, let me see. Since 2012, I think it was 2012. So however long that's been, it's been a while. I made the decision to walk away. And I said, I don't want to feel the way I feel when I'm around her or talk to her on the phone. She makes you feel like shit, you know? If it hadn't been for her, and I know I probably shouldn't blame her, and I don't blame her. Let me take it back. I don't blame her. I don't blame her. It's all on me. But I did allow something that she said to discourage me. But again, it's on me because I'm the one that did it, right? She said what she said, and I'm the one. I could have felt differently, right? But I wanted to be a lawyer. And I told her, and I said, oh, I'm thinking about pursuing law school. I felt like I was on top of the world. And she said some things to me, and it just made me just say, you know what? Fuck being a lawyer. Fuck it. I ain't gonna do it or whatever. Um, so nevertheless, it was my decision to not uh pursue it, but it was based off of something that she said to me. But I could have chose to throw it away, but I didn't. I carried it with me. And so yeah, no, she's not the type of person that you want to tell your dreams and your admirations to or anything like that, your desires, because yeah, she's a spirit killer. She kills dreams, kills spirits. She said that's how my dad was. My mom handled all the finances. Oh, okay. Yeah, so anyway, and so I purposely don't do that to my children because I know how it feels. I know how it feels when you go to somebody and you're excited about something, and they try to put a damper on it. When I said I wanted to be a lawyer, she was like, said something to the effect of, well, she said a few things, but one of them, the thing that they held on to me was, what are you trying to do? Compete with your husband? You trying to compete with him? Let him be the man, and you stop trying to be the man, and let him be the man. And you know, you care so much about your career that you're gonna end up losing your husband because you up here trying to be the man in the relationship. And I'm just like, huh? So anyway, but that on top of her telling me that her biological daughter. She's already pursuing that, and she's already doing that, and she just downplayed it like it wasn't no big old deal. So anyway, I'm just like, oh my God. So anyway, I just said, yeah, I need to stay away from this person. I started changing the way I think or whatever around her. So I said, nah. Anyway, that lady's old. She's 30 years older than me. I am 52, so that means she is 82. Okay, so she's much, much older, but she still kills my spirit. Even when I talked to her last year, I called and I think it was like 10 o'clock in the morning. I'm like, hey, how y'all doing? And she's like, it's too early to be calling. You need to learn that calling people house so early. I'm looking, I'm like, it's 10 o'clock in the morning. And I'm like, you know what, Amor, stop. Just don't do it. Don't do it. Just stop. Don't argue with the, just stop. And so I say, you know what? She's still on this bullshit. 10 o'clock in the morning. If that's early, then don't, I'm not calling. You know what I mean? Anyway, let me stop because y'all know the people across the street or whatever will form their own lies and come up with some shit and twist it around 5 times and put the shit on their community wall or whatever. But anyway, I chose to just stay away. They want me to come visit. They wanted me to come visit last year, and I'm like, nah, I'm good. I thought about it. I said I would think about it, and I thought about it, and I said, no, I'd rather go visit my grandkids. Period. But anyway, I love y'all so much, and I'm going to talk to y'all later. Y'all have an awesome, amazing morning. She said, damn, Amor, the lawyer would have been amazing. You still amazing. Thank you, Kimberly T. And yeah, I think about it every now and again, like, damn, I could be a lawyer right now. But if I'm a lawyer, then I probably wouldn't know y'all, baby. And it's not too late for me to become a lawyer. But if I do, I will become a lawyer, but not necessarily like practice as far as cases and stuff like that. I would probably just be like some of these lawyers. They just give legal advice on YouTube. You know what I mean? So I may do it just so I can professionally give legal advice. You know what I mean? So I talked to Jay about it, and you know, he said, you're not going to try to do it in practice as a lawyer. I said, if I practice, it'll just be on giving advice on YouTube, helping people with their legal issues on YouTube. You know what I'm saying? Instead of trying to go and, you know, out in the public and work and stuff like that. She said, my husband's mom was just like that with him and not his siblings. She hated him for creating a loving family of his own. Wow. That's crazy. That's crazy. Yep. So some people probably don't even know that they spirit killers. But even if you just check yourself, you know, like we all need to check ourselves sometimes. Just ask yourself when you're talking with your in-laws or your with your daughter-in-law or your kids or your grandkids or anybody, are you killing their spirit? Because you may not even know you're doing it like on purpose and whatnot. But just check yourself. Like when people come tell you some exciting news, if your daughter or your daughter-in-law, your son-in-law come tell you, oh, I'm thinking about doing this or I'm thinking about doing that. Like for a moment or whatever, just let it sink in, right? But just trying to kill their spirit and saying, oh no, I don't think you'll be good at that. I don't see that for you or something like that. You don't know, but you may have really changed a path in that person's life. So anyway, just check because you could literally be a spirit killer, you know, and you can prevent somebody from moving forward or doing something that they were passionate about, you know. She said, I cut her off after he passed. She always felt like she was in competition with me, but after he passed, she said she wanted to have a relationship. Oh, weirdo. Okay. She said, I'm going to have fun at physical therapy. We will be waiting for the next live. Love you, lady. Love you too. All right, y'all. I love y'all so much, and I'm going to talk to y'all later. Y'all hit that thumbs up button. Bye now.
Because they can't make $1 without mentioning down one of our names.
Jay! She kept talking about that family.
Hoes over there.
She kept talking about that family. 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 That family. She kept talking about that family. Talking about that family.
These motherfuckers don't even want to regret something. Because they can't make $1 without mentioning down one of our names.
Talking about it. That family. That family. That family. That family.
tomorrow.